Grand rising to all my kings and queens. I hope you guys are having a marvelous day so far. I'm so pumped for this episode because I have an amazing guest with me here today. Please welcome my brother AD, aka Chief Strong Ego.
Yo.
Welcome to Life in Your Eyes podcast. I am your host, Net, aka Nothing But Net, Tokyo or Chief Dance Fire. Obviously, you heard the episode last week, but for all my new listeners, every chapter I drop a quote to get your day started. So the quote of the day is, look for something positive in each day, even if some days you have to look harder. I'm going to repeat that again. Look for something positive in each day, even if some days you have to look harder. Let's get into it, y'all. So questions from last week to give you guys the gist of last week's episode about self and learning about who you are. And that leads to my first question. Do you spend enough time for yourself?
Not as much as I could be spending on myself.
And how much time do you think you should spend on yourself?
There's really no time limit to it until your body feels where it needs to be at.
Do we take time out for ourselves?
Yeah, in various ways throughout the day. It can be as little as just gaming.
Okay. Do you think people can see how you see yourself when you're not one with yourself?
Yeah, they see a shift in your energy. The vibe is definitely different. They can do it. Especially if you a chosen one and you're known for your energy being at a certain thing, and one day they just catch you when you're not yourself. Well, you still yourself, but they just catch you when it's just one of them days. Everybody has some days. Just when people see you like that, it just throws them off. Like, I'm not used to seeing you like this. But people gotta get out of that thinking and just let them.
If you don't know yourself, what can you bring to the table as far as being in a committed relationship?
If you don't know yourself, you shouldn't even be in a relationship.
But a lot of people do. A lot of people don't know themselves and still are in relationships.
So if you're hearing this back and you're in a relationship and you don't know who you are, what you stand for, or that, get out the relationship. It might sound cheesy, that one line, it's not you, it's me. That's where that shit come to life. Like,
but I feel like a lot of people use that too. They be like, oh, it's not me.
Yeah. But if you're genuine about it and that's really the reason, then it don't matter.
Or what about the people that's saying that they're getting themselves together? So would you rather be with someone that's starting from the bottom through their process, or already at the top? If that makes any sense. As far as knowing themselves, what they can bring to the table.
If they know themselves, it don't matter if they at the bottom or top, because they know themselves. It's still gonna be growth because you're just getting to know that person. But if you're getting to know someone and they're at the bottom and they don't know themselves, you shouldn't be in that relationship. But if they do know themselves and you really vibe with that person, and then see what it's about. Because it's primarily females passing up good, genuine dudes because they're not on a certain level financially, but he's there. Like, he knows himself.
Yeah.
He has ideas, thoughts, goals. I don't want to say dreams, so I'm gonna just say he has realities. He creates multiple realities to live in, finance, or to create like different revenues. He's a visionary. That alone, like the woman can have middle class type of money or high class type of money, but with no type of thought. She know who she is, but she don't know how to put the thoughts in motion, brand it, like just create it to a whole nother thing. Like, every female, every guy that has us, but I feel like, me personally, my perspective, I feel like they don't know how to, some, or at least most, women don't know how to go about what they're trying to do. I always hear they got ideas, but they don't know how to go about it.
Like, give me an example.
Maybe a little bit, as little as somebody wanting to do nails. They've been doing nails since they were a kid. But how would I go about it in a business fashion? Getting a building or you already got the building. Your house is the first spot people should come to. People you trust. If you know 20 people within your family and you got friends and your friends have family, you gonna have your clientele. So.
But it's like a lot of them don't even support you in the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
It be like that though.
But leading back to what you said about the females, but what if the guys? How do you know if they're really being like genuinely true about their intentions? Like as far as like like saying like they have themselves together and they know what they can bring to the table. Like the phony ones that be acting.
I get that it's good to be mysterious, your character from time to time. I feel like I'm that without being that. But I don't just be talking to females in person or in inbox explaining things. So when it gets to the point where I feel like I'm about to build with you and we do get the opportunity to have that one-on-one, face-to-face talk, then I'm basically gonna tell you everything I'm doing.
Right.
Because it's not a secret because I speak about it in the public domain. You're just gonna hear about it in person and more passionately. And you might hear some new things, and then before we even link up, from previous conversations that we had of you telling me what you trying to do in life, I'm already thinking of like other businesses to create just for you, and then businesses for me and you type shit. Like,
right.
I think above and beyond, like if I can really see something happen, I'm already thinking ahead of time, and then I'm gonna let you know when we have that face to face, so they know it's serious. Cause ain't nobody got time to play.
Yeah.
We trying to really build on this land, create generational wealth, and you gotta be serious about that.
Facts. Hell yeah. How do you know when someone wants to genuinely get to know you or just wants to have sex with you?
Ain't gonna mention sex at all. And it can go both two ways. They can not mention that at all, just to make it seem like they real play it like that.
Yeah.
Like they not thinking about it, but they really thinking about it. Or they can not mention it at all, like I said, and really have that intention not to fuck. And with me, I be telling females off rip, especially if I'm working with them businessly, I'm throwing myself in the friend zone automatically. And if we not doing business musically, there's a possibility for us to build on a intimate family type of level, just because music is my main gift, my craft, focus, and I don't want to mix business with pleasure. So what was the question again?
It was, how do you know when someone wants to genuinely get to know you or just wants to have sex with you?
They just want to talk with you, be around your vibe without draining it. It's not gonna be drainful. It's gonna be a mutual exchange. But yeah, they just gonna show you that they just trying to conversate and just pick your brain and just talk. They gonna say places as little like parks or hiking. That's the main thing. Or like the city gonna close pretty soon because of the shutdown, the transition. But like bookstores would be a place. When somebody can ask you to go somewhere for like a brunch type of thing, or just go somewhere for like a drink, not like a drink, but like a smoothie or something, and just really talk and just express values and stuff, that's how you know. And then they ain't even gotta be on you linking up in an intimate way to be like, okay, we about to build. It can just be strictly platonic on some friendship, bro, sis type shit. Let's go here. We about to just fellowship as opposite sex, so we can hone in on that energy without it having to be sexual. So
It's crazy because a lot of people don't even really think like that. Because you know how back then, like, a man and a female can't be friends. And I feel like that's still like that today. Like, they act like females can't be friends with guys and just be strictly platonic with it. You know what I'm saying? Just with any type of thing, like just hanging out in general. Why is that? Why do you think that people think like that?
It's because them individuals specifically want more than friendship. It's just that simple. They want sex more than the person they're trying to pursue, and they willing to stay with the person they're trying to pursue forever.
What do you mean? Like stay in that like friendship?
No, in that people would stay in a relationship just to have consistent sex with that person.
I see what you're saying.
Until it's like not beneficial no more, or somebody comes along, or they just might just settle down. It just feels like that just because that's their energy, and that's like majority of the planet thinking like that right now. But it's not necessarily their fault. It was like programmed to be thinking like that. So that's why they say think outside the box. You gotta think for yourself.
Yeah. If you don't love yourself, how can you expect anyone else to love you?
You can't. Yeah, you just can't. It's always anything you get into, as far as love wise, with the opposite sex, is always gonna fall through. Just from it stemming back to you not knowing how to love yourself. That's simple. Nothing to it. Because
I don't feel like
if you can't make yourself happy, you don't expect somebody else to be able to make you happy. It might be temporary, but ultimately, you won't be happy.
So that leads back to when people say, it's not you, it's me. What is it that you couldn't give them, but they find? So how can I say this? If someone stays in a relationship so long with someone because they're not trying to give up on that person, but that person's already given up on the person that's trying to push them to the next level, but the next person that comes along in his life, he grows with, if that makes any sense. So what I'm trying to understand, for the person that was trying to push the one to the next level, why can't she find someone at her level, if that makes any sense?
It's because she's focusing her attention on the wrong person. And it goes back to one of those books we read, The Mastery of Self, or was it Love? Dealing with detachment.
Oh, it was the 5 levels of attachments.
Yeah,
That there was a book, because it has the different stages.
But we had that introduction in one of the first 2 books. I learned about attachment in one of those 2 books.
It had to be a mastery of self.
Just because your feelings for somebody is super strong and it don't work out with it, doesn't mean you can't find somebody. Because it's always somebody or somebodies. There's so many people on this planet. I forgot how many soulmates they say each person has. You just have to like really isolate yourself, learn yourself, know yourself, tap into yourself, and then when you think about the emotions you want this person to have for you, and the emotions you want them to have for themselves and each other, you're thinking about the way they look without having a clear picture. You just know, like, when they say think about your perfect person or whatever, that's basically what you're doing. And then think about the feeling it gives you when you think about it. And just keep thinking about it. And somebody's gonna pop up in your life that vibrates on everything you've been wanting. but it doesn't work when you focus on the wrong thing.
And that goes back to knowing self, which was the first chapter. You guys should definitely go listen to chapter 1. That one was amazing. But that leads back to the question, if you don't love yourself, how can you expect anyone else to love you? And I feel like I felt that type of way when that whole situation with my ex. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always kept thinking, what was wrong with me? What did I did wrong, in the relationship? And I thought about that for years, like thinking, it was my problem and it was something wrong with me. But I had to learn how to love myself, and I'm still learning, to love and appreciate myself. Because, like I said, like the question said, if you don't love yourself, how can you expect anyone else to love you? You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. It was just, it like I said in the first episode, it takes a long time. People are still learning about themselves. No one knows themselves truly, you know what I'm saying? So that was definitely a learning experience. And I'm glad I actually went through that, because it made me a better person. And, growing up around you and Stevan, but mostly you, and seeing how you are, when you're in your relationships, when you're dedicated, like we give our all in relationships, and people don't appreciate that shit. They don't appreciate the love that we give them. And it's genuinely good love, unconditional love, because we have so much unconditional love from our parents. And people see that. People know, they can sense those vibes, like we are a good ass family.
They definitely do.
And it's so crazy. Like, I love hearing, like, when I be telling Dad the stories. I heard him telling Grandma the other day. He's like, we was in the car, me, AD, and Nat, and woo woo woo, telling her the story about like how our friends be like, I love your parents, good vibes. I wish they were my parents. Like, people love our parents. Like, our parents are dope as hell. Like, we got some dope ass parents. Like, shout out to our parents, man. Shout out to our parents.
I can't complain. Shout out to the ancestors.
Yes.
And there's like, when I come across like different readings on like spirituality and whatnot, I come across things where it's like, we just call it an idea, or I guess an idea for lack of a better word. But before you come to this life, you choose what family you come to, who vibrates the highest to your to your vibration, whatever. That happens to still be in the bloodline. How it was called. Ancestral mathematics. Here, just
Okay, so ancestral mathematics. In order to be born, you needed 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 second great-grandparents, 32 third great-grandparents, 64 fourth great-grandparents, 128 fifth great-grandparents, 256 sixth great-grandparents, 512 seventh great-grandparents, 1,024 eighth great-grandparents, 2,048 ninth great-grandparents. For you to be born today from 12 previous generations, you need a total of 4,094 ancestors over the last 400 years. Think for a moment.
That's just 400 years.
Damn.
400 years.
That's not that long. Think about it for a moment. How many struggles, how many battles, how many difficulties, how much sadness, how much happiness, how many love stories, how many expressions of hope for the future did your ancestor have to undergo for you to exist in this present moment? Speak about that so they can understand that, what I just read.
A lot of, cause they keep saying we've been in, our ancestors were in slavery for 400 years, and we just got out of it, like 107 years ago? I'm not too sure on the date, so don't quote me on it. But it's not much to say. Like, if our ancestors was in slavery for, we were prisoners of war, but we say that's our whole other thing. But slavery ended like a little less than 100 years ago. But it's part of the 100 years. It's part of the 400 years, so it's 300 years. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So from then until now, we only had 4,000 some grandparents, but we've been here longer than that before slavery. Before we was here before time was called time. Like before here was here, we had to create here. Like you know, understand that's why we organic to the land. It's more than just being indigenous. But for the sake of the argument, we indigenous to the land, and we getting what's ours. But yeah, we was here before he was here.
Yes, that's definitely going to be another episode, chapter, talking about indigenous people and being indigenous to this land. And it's going to be my brother and I. He's going to give y'all the scoopity scoop on all that information. But this topic I'm about to mention has been on blast on social media for a hot ass minute. And I already know what you thought about it, but I want my viewers to know your opinion on these next questions I'm about to ask you. And I want you to give them the opinion on Roe versus Wade. Do you think that people are affected personally or emotionally about the whole situation?
My fault. Say that one more time.
So I want you to give my viewers your opinion on Roe versus Wade. And the question is, do you think this affected everyone personally or emotionally?
From what I've seen, it affected a lot of people. I don't want to say everyone, but it affected a lot of people personally when it shouldn't have, because you letting it affect you lets them know that you're still giving them power over what they don't need power over, because they're not from here, they're not from this land. So to get too much into that, because that's a whole other topic, but it did affect a lot of people. I'm against abortion. When two people know the outcome of what's going to happen, why even go through it knowing that would happen? It's like you're premeditating abortion before it even happens. So at that point, it's premeditated murder. I get it's my body, my choice, but doing that shit recklessly. So at that point, it's not even about my body, my choice. You just out here being reckless, I feel.
Especially the ones that like keep having abortions and shit.
Yeah, that's gonna take a toll on your mental. You're gonna get at a certain age and it all hits you at one time, and you're not gonna be able to cope with that. I'm against it, but I would never go out there and vote and be like, let women do this, because this system has nothing to do with me. This system, these laws only have anything to do with people who want to participate in that system, this government. And this system / government was made for specific people to benefit, but they have to follow the laws. And sometimes them laws are going to get changed in the middle of the night while you're sleeping, and it can be something completely outrageous, but you can't do nothing about it because you done put your faith and trust in your God-given right, your birthright, to this foreign corporation to make and dictate decisions for you, and it does not benefit you at all.
Right.
So
I know when I was I didn't know what to think about it at first, cause like I first asked mom and dad their opinion, and then I asked yours, and then they asked my opinion. I was like, to be honest, like I didn't really care, but then again,
yeah, I didn't either, because when I first heard about it come up, I said Roe versus Wade. I was like, what's that mean? Find something. As soon as I knew what it was, I'm like, distraction.
yeah, I just kept seeing it on my timeline. But I, like you said, I'm against abortions completely, 100,000%. Especially if you killing them, like you said, because you don't want to have them, but you knew the consequences for your actions. On the other hand, if it was because you were raped, hell yeah, I want them to get an abortion. I don't. If they want to get an abortion, I understand that, but that's two different things. You know what I'm saying? So I'm against it, but I'm not against it. But if it has nothing to do with me, I don't really care about the situation. So like it was crazy, you know, seeing people, you know, get all upset about it and people just going back and forth. I'm just like,
people don't even do that when the numbers come in monthly on specific like police sites and missing person sites. How many indigenous women in America go missing a year? Shit, let alone a month. It don't be no outrage for them. But y'all worried about what they trying to have y'all do with y'all bodies? It make no sense. You care about women's rights and women's safety, but you're not trying to do anything about the women getting kidnapped, child trafficked, all types of shit.
we were talking about that yesterday too in the car.
How they tell us what they're doing in movies with the kidnapping and basically what we see in theaters from like movies like Taken and whatnot.
Oh no, about them knowing that we control, we have the power.
We saw movie shit like that. Everything is basically everything you see on the black market, the dark web, put in a cinematic experience for us to watch and eat popcorn to. That's what we're witnessing. The dark web in a cinematic experience.
Oh, I'm sorry, this is off topic, but I was talking to Mari yesterday, and I was so hyped, you know, telling him about everything that you've been telling me about Rahays and shit, about like the vampires and the werewolves and shit. And he said something, where my fault at, bro? This shit had me, oh my goodness. I told him, I was like, oh man, I'm definitely gonna mention it to AD. Shout out to you, Mar, when you listen to this. But where's it at? Oh man, I was like, oh, I cannot wait to tell him. Dang, where's it at? I was like, we were talking about, you know, indigenous people or whatever. I was like, exactly, if they don't try to grow or be something, don't ever approach me. I said, they can sense your vibes and energy. I said, they be trying to steal that shit, not today or ever. He's like, exactly, bunch of vampires. And I was like, oh my goodness, I had to do like a voice memo. Like, I was like,
bro, don't get me fucking started with this shit. Oh my goodness. Bro, you have to go, like, tomorrow. You have to go on my brother's page and watch his videos, and then you'll have a better understanding of what you just said. Like, I don't even want to get into it because that shit is just so fucking crazy that you just fucking said that. Oh my gosh.
like, I was so pumped. But explain to the people what we mean by vampires.
Alright, so I'm gonna have to start with this just to put things in like perspective a little bit. Slavery and this land getting taken over by white people isn't as accurate as y'all think it is. White people did have a hand in it, but it was done by people who look like us that ain't us. And the best way for y'all to understand that is to go to Chief Strong Eagle YouTube page and watch all the Rod Hayes videos explaining that and our history and culture. You're gonna receive all the downloads you're gonna need, all the receipts you're gonna need in audio form. And then if you need to see it visually, then inbox me on Instagram, Chief Strong Eagle, and I send you to Rod Hayes' Instagram page, and you can look at all the receipts and scroll through. So now you understand that we were put in this, the organic people of the land was put in this position because we were snuck attacked by people who look like us that ain't us, and they used white people as the face of what they were doing, so we would never know who was doing the dirt the whole fucking time. So, boom. Understand that people who look like us that ain't us are vampires. This is why you hear, it's not just stories. This is a reality. This shit has been going on. This is their culture. This has nothing to do with our culture. We are people of peace and love and unity. These other peoples are vampires. That's why you see all types of shows and movies about vampirism. They're telling us their history. They're telling us the war between vampires, them, and the organic people on the land, werewolves. Now, the breakdown for that is they're vampires because they be drinking our blood, primarily our kids. They kidnap our kids so they can put them in fear, get them doped up on fear. So when they kill them, before they kill them and they drink their blood, it's turned into adrenochrome. That's like the fountain of youth for these motherfuckers. And it makes them young, strong, woo woo woo. Not just their blood, but then that's why you see a lot of, I don't like using the term black, but you see a lot of carbonated indigenous brothers being slain in various states on this land, disguised as gangbanging, but it's not. It's disguised as gangbanging for organ harvesting. So they're drinking our blood, they're organ harvesting, and then they got blood banks. Think about that. They got blood banks. Who would need a blood bank? A vampire. Because when you organic to this land and you have the blood we have, and you can live under this sun, you can live off the land, you don't need any of these institutions that they got up that you think you need.
Daybreakers. If y'all don't know that movie, go check out that movie, Daybreakers. It's pretty much explaining what he just said about the vampires needing our blood to live during the day and survive. But go ahead, AD.
It's universal law for them to tell us in plain sight in our face what they do. The only thing is they're deceivers. And it doesn't matter how you put the information out as long as it's out there. So they do everything through entertainment. That's to over exaggerate everything so it just goes over your head and you think nothing of it. But everything you've been seeing as entertainment is true. Mm-hmm. Every superhero is just describing us, the indigenous organic people of the land, of the planet. But that'd be a whole nother video talking about, our true nature of our powers, being tapped in with nature. The movie, The Blue Avatar, that's basically what they did. They came here and cut down all our ancient ancestral trees, our knowledge, because it was by people who look like us that ain't us. Because if we know who it was, we would have got them. Mm-hmm. We think it was white people the whole time. Mm-hmm. Because if it was white people the whole time, these non-godly beings, you think they really about to overthrow us?
Nope.
It's deeper than that. So, the over-exaggeration of the vampire and werewolves. They're letting you know they're the vampires, they drink our blood. Now the werewolves, it's over-exaggerated thinking we turn into werewolves. No, werewolves is symbolic for you being indigenous to the land, the wolf being indigenous to the land. Because if you look at indigenous photos, you're gonna see chiefs wearing wolf pelts. Hence, werewolves. We're wearing the wolves. So we're the werewolves facing the vampires. The organic beings facing these blood-sucking demons. That's all it is, in plain sight. We've been at war since the beginning of time, since they came.
Mm-hmm. But explain to them when you mention about women having the power, because we were talking about the abortions.
The government ain't at war with the men; they're at war with women, because Earth is a feminine-based energy.
Y'all probably skipped over y'all heads. Let him say that again. Say that again.
Earth is a feminine-based energy, and our tradition was a matriarchal system. the women ran everything. Chiefs can run the clans and everything, but it's only by the blessing of the matriarchal system. Like I said, go to Chief Strong Eagle YouTube page and watch all the Rod Hayes videos. He gonna speak on the matriarchs and everything you need to know about our culture. Just know we're an oral tradition culture. We speak everything in the public domain. So y'all gonna learn about everything soon.
Yes, you guys go check out his page. Like he said, Chief Strong Eagle. I'm telling you, he will give you guys some good ass knowledge. It's really it really has opened my eyes to everything and what I've been seeing lately, and it's just been such an awe. So and I'm starting to really speak that talk and talk about it like to people that I've been coming across, my friends and people that been going through the same situations, and I'm trying to, wake them up as far as getting our people ready to take our land back. Like he said, y'all need to go check out his
We ain't taking
videos.
shit back. It's already ours.
Facts, you're right. We were regaining what was ours. Reclaiming, yes. And that leads to the next question. How do you feel about the whole shutdown that's about to happen?
I don't feel nothing about it. It just lets me know we're returning back to our original culture.
As far as like that too, with the gas prices going up and then just everything, all prices going up.
That's just indications to let you know everything's about to fall. It's everything you see, everything in real time being super high inflation is being inflated super high right now. So that's so it can crash the system. So if you want to crash the system even more and you know it's about to fall, get as much as credit cards as you can and make sure you and your family good. That's all you need to worry about at the end of the day. You and your family and tribe up.
And I've been posting like every day like videos of inspiration, and I've been telling in those videos, make sure y'all go to the stores and stock up on groceries and stuff that y'all need, because once the shutdown hits, you guys are not going to be able to go to the stores. Y'all see how the world's been going on, all these shootings, all these, just a lot of shit going down, the railroads, a lot been going on, y'all need to be alert and stay awake in what's going on right now. They be trying to blind us with, like he said, entertainment to entertain us from the bigger picture and what's going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to pay attention, stay alert. You too, sisters, because one of my friends yesterday, she posted on her Facebook page that this car literally followed her a couple blocks even after she hit a couple U-turns. My sisters, y'all need to be safe out here. Y'all need to stay fucking safe out here. People are wilding out here in these streets. Y'all need to be prepared. Y'all need to be set. Y'all better start telling y'all jobs y'all about to be quitting soon, because it's about to get real out here, and y'all need to be safe and be with y'all families. Real talk. Anything to say about that? Like, I'm hype on that one.
You said it all. You said it all. Get your credit cards. Get loans. Put the down payment on some land. Have that loan pay off a year in advance. You ain't gotta pay it the full year in advance. Just have it put to the side so you know you have it. But everything's gonna crash way before a year. It's not even gonna take even 6 months. Do what you need to do to get to this land, get your family on it, and start building. Because when everything crashes, ain't nobody gonna be coming to collect nothing. Because how they gonna collect it? Where's it gonna go? Get what you need right now, because at the end of the day, it's gonna be a come up. And this is gonna be the transfer of wealth. Get your land. Get yourself into some land. And you set, and then boom.
Y'all see how the world's going, and these storms. Man, the ancestors are speaking to us. I don't know if y'all saw that storm yesterday, but that storm was, it was beautiful, and we got flooded.
Until they see 3 kings walking, until Larry Hoover free, the storms are just gonna keep increasing. Y'all thinking it's part of the season? Nah, Mother Nature about to tear this bitch up until Larry Hoover free, Big Tukey free, Angel Bay free, Three Kings walking.
Open your eyes, y'all. Go check out his page. Chief Strong Ego. But by 2030, what do you want to see for the world?
By 2030, what do I want to see? It's already going to be seen before then. We seen what we need to see right now. Because this the year of the Jubilee. The year of the closing. So everything returning back to what's rightfully owned. So by 2030, you just gonna see how it's supposed to be. The whole entire planet in abundance of everything. So that's what I'm gonna see. Not what I want to see. That's what we all gonna see. Abundance.
Just give me chills. Man, that's crazy because that's why I named this chapter 2022. Because I feel like in 2020, COVID hit, right? Everything was smooth. Well, not really smooth, but, everything was transitioning, trying to get back to normal. And ever since 2022, everything just been going fucking ridiculous. And that's why I named it 2022, because all these questions I've asked so far, besides, giving them a gist of chapter 1, it's been everything that's been happening since 2022 has hit.
Non-stop.
We'll still not realizing,
I'm talking, man. So, quick thing, it goes back to the blood banks, these vampires. So y'all can put into perspective, what's really happening. So you're hearing all this crazy shit going on that they doing, and you're wondering how, we didn't know. It goes back to the blood. The blood is the life force. The blood has so much power. That's why you think you hear stories about don't sign no contract in blood, because it's set in stone. When you realize what doing a contract in blood can do, then you'll understand what happened to our country. Or I don't want to say country because that's a form of a word that ties into this system. Nations too. So yeah, whatever. Where's I going with that? The blood. They killed one of our chiefs. I don't remember his name offhand, but they know they can't spill the blood of the righteous in vain. I forgot what document. It was some treaty. I think his name is Christopher Atticus. They spilled the blood of Christopher Atticus. They use his blood because you can't spill the blood of the righteous in vain. So they use his blood to do a I don't remember what the contract was or what it was, but when they signed the paper in his blood, it put America in a 2-year contract with this foreign corporation. And we had 200 years with them just because of that, just because of the blood thing alone. That contract ended in 2019, July 4th. How were we just under this deep hypnosis, this amnesia? They've been telling us our spirituality, our culture, what we've been practicing was devilish. So they told us that just so they can practice that behind closed doors. Practicing our culture behind closed doors, using it against us. And then they got these blood banks, right? We all understand now that blood is a life force. Plasma is a life force too. So you got plasma banks and blood banks. But they're using the blood to do blood magic on you to keep you in a deep hypnosis. And you think they doing it to really help you in your health. Because if that was the case, there won't be no disease to this day. And if you truly understand that every disease is man-made, because every disease that's out there, HIV, all that, there's a patent on each one of them.
Crazy.
So if it's a patent on something, there's a cure for it. Because you can't patent a creation of science stuff like that and not have a cure for it.
Right.
And then why would you create something like that and patent it. That goes back to saying it's universal law for them to put it in our face. It has to be put in the public domain. People just ain't researching it. You don't know the USC codes that they use for this shit. That's how they be getting this. They be using these titles, these USC codes, and you gotta understand that all laws are operating under commercial code or commercial law, something like that. Commercial code, I believe. So law isn't like law, what you think it is. It's commercial. That's on the YouTube too. So I'm just saying key things so y'all, it can just hit that conscious and subconscious, and just to get that wheel rolling, and then you be like, oh, I did hear somebody say that key word of the topic. I'm just trying to get your brain to memorize key topics, not a bunch of things. I just want you to remember key things, so when you search them key things, you're gonna fall right into the rabbit hole.
Man, we had to drop that knowledge with y'all. But that is the end of chapter 2. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. Make sure you guys go hit that subscribe button and click the link in my bio to follow me on all social media platforms. Make sure you guys go follow my brother at Chief Strong Eagle and check out his videos for Rod Hayes. Also, he made a video to live off grid. Just check out all his videos. That's all I'm gonna say. Check out our page, subscribe to our page, and just thank y'all for vibing with us today. But stay tuned next week for chapter 3, going more in depth with self by embracing yourself. Until next time, life is what we make it.